Anthony Bourdain became known for traveling the world and sharing his cooking skills, but for this biopic, Matt Johnson and the rest of his writing team have made the smart decision to just focus on one aspect of his life. Similar to what he did with Blackberry, Johnson tries to avoid some of the usual trademarks of the biographical film, turning Tony into more of a buddy movie between a young Bourdain and his chef mentor. As led by great performance from Dominic Sessa, I appreciate the movie was willing to dig into his flaws and making this more of a coming-of-age story. There's a summertime vibe that runs throughout Tony that helped pull me into the story he was telling. As Bourdain hangs out in this seaside Massachusetts town, we do get a feel of its inhabitants, and particularly the people working at this restaurant. Sessa and Anthony Bourdain have a great dynamic as Bourdain is shown the ropes, and we see the high-pressure world of getting the orders to the tables while still making the food taste good. Spending so much time in this restaurant kitchen, I even started forming an attachment to it the same way the characters do, with Johnson making it really come alive. He even chooses the right music cues to play over those scenes. The film is willing to show how troubled Anthony Bourdain is as he tries to find his purpose in life. We see how he bothers others with his behavior and his temperamental side, with Sessa achieving that balance and depicting these flaws, as well as his growth over the course of the movie. His other relationships are also nicely explored. Leo Woodall is great as this bad boy cook, and we see how this rubs off on Bourdain. Sessa shares a number of great scenes opposite Emilia Jones, who's given more dimension than the standard love interest. Another aspect I appreciate is how it handles his parents. The unsupportive parent is a common trope in biopics, and while initially seems like that's how the film would depict his mother, there's a lot more nuance to her portrayal than you expect. It's an example of how Johnson is trying to avoid as many of the expected biopic cliches as possible. He's not necessarily interested in winking at the audience or foreshadowing where his life will later go like biopics sometimes like to do. The movie focuses on telling the story of a young man who finds a new passion and makes friends even as he gets wrapped up in the lies he tells others. I admit to not being too familiar with Anthony Bourdain's life, but Tony works because it's primarily interested in telling this coming-of-age story. You could change the names and have it be about any college student in the 70s who realizes he has the skills to be a chef, and it would be just as entertaining. I especially like seeing the friendship that develops between Bourdain and his chef mentor, and Matt Johnson directs the kitchen scenes with a lot of energy, although whether you'll get hungry depends on your appetite for lobster and oysters. Tony is able to showcase his flaws and mistakes while still making him an intriguing person to follow in this restaurant and the town he finds himself in.